the Van Weasel Hall here in Sarasota last night.
Where are you at now? Where are you calling me from?
I'm in Sarasota. We leave today.
Is this the first time in Naples?
Well, I've been in Naples before. I mean, the first time I've performed there, that's for sure.
What do you think of our little town down here?
Oh, I love it. I just, first of all, I just love, Florida to me is, when I was a kid in New York, we used to come down for spring break, so it was always, paradise. And I'll never forget the first time I saw a palm tree. I couldn't believe it, oh my God.
Is this the first time you've ever worked with Don Rickles?
We worked last year together. We did it. We worked in New York, a couple of shows together, and he's he's been a friend of mine for a number of years, and an idol of mine for many years. And so it's I'm thrilled to be working with him.
Now he's so sharp-witted. Is this is he impromptu? Does this stuff just come to him?
Well, you know what it is too. One of the things you learn when you do a show for a number of years. I've been doing mine for 9 years now. I mean, out there trying to, do this kind of an act. And what happens is you build up, and even in the sitcoms, you build up a tremendous amount of reference material. You become your own encyclopedia, and a lot of things refer back. And something will happen, and you can call on stuff that you've used in other times. And yes, he's to answer your question, he's terrifically sharp. He's unbelievable. I mean, and plus he has material for everything. I mean, he's a lot of fun to watch.
With him.
It really is. He's brutal. He's brutal. And I take a little bit of the brunt now. That's one of the things you get when you work with him. You become a little bit of the target. So.
What kind of a guy is he backstage?
Well, he's a sweetheart, but he doesn't stop. You're always, the first time I ever met him, I was at a party at Sammy Kahn's house, the great songwriter, and that's how I actually got to meet him. Sammy was a friend of mine, and I used to say he liked the guy who played in Taxi, or really he was trying to get to Danny DeVito through me. But anyway, he ended up with me, and I walked into the party, and everybody else was in suit and ties. It was the older Hollywood sect, and I had come from the show. I had just done Who's the Boss, and I came in, and I wasn't quite as dressed. And he said to me, "Oh, I know, you're here to fix the sink." So it's been that kind of relationship.
So he's the same off stage as he is
much
in
the same. Yeah, he doesn't stop.
I've got to ask you a couple of questions here. First of all, you always wear that St. Louis Cardinals uniform.
Well, that was the guy. That's from the character in Who's the Boss. He was a Cardinals player.
And of course, this is a big melting pot of sports fans down here.
Uh-huh.
Everybody would like to know if you're a big Cards fan.
Well, no, actually, I live in L.A. now. It'll be 26 years this year. So when you live in a neighborhood, when you live in a town, I'm a Dodger fan. I became friends with Tommy Lasorda too, which is another problem. Once Lasorda becomes your friend, you have no choice. He's impossible. So. He and Don are friends too. That's another. That's a wild duo, the two of them together.
How'd you guys hook up for this?
Excuse me?
How did you guys wind up?
Well, we've been talking. Like I said, we're friends for a long time, and we've been talking about it. And then, this last year, we have the same agent, and they fished it around, and I guess people really liked the idea. And so we played New York, and it was a big success. We sold out a big building, and we just had a lot of fun working together. And sort of, it's kind of an interesting combination, And so I kick it off, and then he puts it in the end zone.
What are you calling the show?
It's just Tony Danza and Don Rickles together, basically. I mean, I don't think we call it anything. I wish I had a good title for you right about now, John. I really, I wish I would have had that.
A lot of people are not aware that you have a great singing voice as well.
Well, that's nice of you to say. Certainly at this time of the morning, I probably don't sound it, but I've been singing. I've been doing this live act now for it'll be 9 years, and this kind of an act. I mean, not the same act, of course, but this kind of an act, and I'm getting better at it. I mean, there's no doubt that it takes time to,
But you sound like a polished singer. I've listened to some of your stuff.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, it's a growth thing. You gotta put the time in and spend the time on stage and start to feel comfortable and confident, and then you sort of let it go, and that's been happening more and more, and I'm excited about it. It's great. This is something I dreamed up, one morning.